the best we can. Okay, so for multiplying polynomials, sometimes it's easier to remember something if you have an acronym or you have a word that you can remember it by. The reason we use this is because it stands for this right here: first, outer, inner, last. Okay? I said before when we first started that when we had something that was a x plus or minus whatever, that we had to leave it, the exponents, because we didn't know how to multiply those yet. And well, now we know how to multiply these, or we're going to learn how to multiply these by doing this method. Really all it is distributive property. We've done it for years. Okay? The difference is now we've got some letters involved that we need to be careful about the exponent. Okay, so when you're multiplying the exponents, we need to be sure we add them. I really don't like that example at the top because you can't combine anything together. However, it does show you that you're multiplying each part. Okay, so you can go back and look at it. But I'm going to like our example better that we used down here. So let's look at number 1. Now I'm going to talk you through this. This is how we're going to do the FOIL method. This is what it means. The F, the first, stands for the first two things in each set of parentheses. We're going to take this x, basically, and we're multiplying it through the x and the 4. Distributive property. So what is x times x? X squared, right? X2. So we have x squared. The outer two mean exactly that. It's the 2 on each end. So what's x times 4? 4x. The inner two mean the middle two in here. 3 times x gives us 3x. And the last two mean the 2 at the end of each parentheses. 3 times 4 is 12. To get rid of the parentheses, we multiply. Okay? To finish, we have to add our like terms. So we want to put together what's alike. Well, think about this. You can think of it in color codes. You can think of it in the actual letters and the exponents that they are. If you think about shapes, x squared is a square. X are the long ones. Single numbers, little units. We talk about algebra tiles. Only put together what's alike. Well, if we only put together what's alike, there's nothing that goes with x squared. However, we have two x terms. 4x plus 3x is 7x. And then we have plus 12. These are what your answers are going to look like. We don't want a single number. Do not put these in your calculator and tell me it's 10. It's not going to work. Okay, we have to follow multiplying each one through and then simplifying where we can. Let's look at another one. Think about this kind of another way. It's still the FOIL method, but I'm just going to word it a little bit differently. Take x, multiply it times these two. That's our first two and our outer two. So same thing. X times x is x squared. X times 2 is negative 2x. Then take 7. Multiply it times those two. That's your inner 2 and your last 2. Well, 7 times x is 7x. 7 times negative 2 is negative 14. Notice I have 4 terms. X times these two, 7 times these two. Whether you can combine it at the end or not doesn't matter when you first start. You want to write it out. Then combine what you can. These two both have an x. So we have x squared plus 5x minus 14. Now, the rest of these are pretty similar to this one. I want us to look down here at the bottom, and then we're going to go back and work some of these at 7 and 8. Okay? Because it's the same method, but we're going to have to multiply through. So it's not just going to be first, inner, outer, last. It's going to be times all of them. So I'm going to use the colors. Let's start with x. I multiply x through. What's x times x squared? cubed, add your exponents. So we have x cubed. What is x times 2x? How many x's? 2. So minus 2x squared, and x times 1 plus x. So you used up all of the x, multiplied it through. Now do the 2. And I'm going to write this one a little bit different because as we get longer problems, you string it all out and it's really long. If we line up what's already a lot, it makes it really easy to combine at the end. Okay, what's 2 times x squared? 2x squared. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4x. And 2 times 1 is 2. See how I lined them up right underneath each other? So now I already know what things go together. You don't have to do that, but it makes it a little bit easier maybe. So let's combine them. There's nothing that goes with x cubed. There's nothing that goes with 2. But what's negative 2 plus 2? This is 0. Cancels out. And 1 minus 4 is negative 3x. So it's the distributive property. We're just involving a few more terms and some letters with some exponents now. You will have a lot of problems like 1 through 6. You will have a few problems like 7. And then occasionally you'll have one like number 8. Okay? Number 8 is to practice your distributive property and your exponent rules and your combining like terms. So, just stay with me as we do it. First of all, let's multiply through with the first one. 4x squared times everything over here. If we have x squared times x squared, what's our exponent have to be? 4. So I want 4x to the 4th. If I have 4x squared times negative 5x, negative 20x to the 3rd, adding exponents. 4x squared times 9, negative 36x squared, because the 9 doesn't have any letters on it. So we took this, we multiplied it through everything in the second polynomial. Okay, it's a pattern. Then we're going to take negative x, do the same thing. We use up each letter. Okay, well negative x times x squared, it's not x4. We only have 3 of them. Negative x times negative 5, what's negative times negative? Positive. So I have positive 5x squared. Same thing here, negative times negative 9, positive 9x. Notice I'm lining up the ones that are the same. Okay, now we got the 3 left. I know it's long, it's tedious, but it's really not hard. We've done all the parts before. We're just putting them together. So we're going to take 3 times everything in here. Well, 3 times x squared is 3x squared. 3 times negative 5 is negative 15x. And 3 times negative 9 is negative 27. And so we want to combine our like terms. Those 2 don't have anything to go with them. But how many x cubes do we have? It's negative 20 minus 1. Either 21 or 19, which one is it? 21. 20 minus 1 is negative 21. If we have negative 36 plus 5 plus 3, we get negative 28. We have x squared. And 9 minus 15 is negative 16x. And so that's what we get. So that was a really involved problem, but the point is, organization. How do we take it step by step? Okay, each one.